Welcome to Cooking Across America. Today we're in the Midwest and we are going to make cheeseburger casserole, which along with its cousin, the Minnesota, Dakota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Iowa hot dish, is kind of a one dish staple. So for our cheeseburger casserole, we need pasta, and we're going to use the ubiquitous macaroni. The recipe that is credited with being the original hot dish recipe specifically calls for macaroni. So my water's already at a boil. I'm going to get my pasta in there. Now the other thing you need for any kind of casserole or hot dish is your protein. And this recipe calls for ground beef. I am using some veggie crumbles, but I went for the chorizo. Let that cook. Some onion. So. Now if you're following the recipe from the database at home, you will notice it calls for a lot more onion. I am using a smaller casserole dish, so I'm only using half the recipe today. It calls for a clove of garlic. I am using half a tablespoon, which comes out to about half a clove of garlic. But because I'm using chorizo, it's already pretty well spiced, so it's probably a little generous for a tablespoon, but we're going to add the tomato paste, diced tomatoes. So I'm just going to let those sit there a minute. All right, so it's been a couple of minutes and our macaroni is cooked, so I'm going to turn that off. Now the recipe just calls for pickles. I'm skipping the middleman and going with the relish. And we're going to be generous with the cheese. And really, you can use any flavor of cheese you like. I just happen to go for cheddar. So now we're going to add another layer of macaroni. I could put the lid on this and let it cook, but I think because it's got so much liquid in it, I'm going to leave the lid off. It's going to go in the oven. It's preheated to 350. Give it some more time. We'll come back and see how it looks in a few minutes. Well, it's been about 25 minutes and it's good looking, good and melty cheese on the top. There we have it. Cheeseburger casserole, a variation on Midwest hot dish. See you next week on Cooking Across America.